absolutely went into marriage knowing I was going to become a divorcee. There was no question in my mind. I knew at some point we would get divorced. The only question mark was when. I thought, when I'm 40, maybe I'd get that title. Maybe then I'd earned it, 10 years down the track. Because I think 10 years in a marriage, that's a pretty good innings in this day and age. That's like a good run. Turns out it was just a 3. In the end, that's all we kind of reached our limit with. But, still got the title in the end. And obviously, I don't want to get married ever again. However, double divorcee is a term that I'm living for. Like, that is cunt, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I'm a double divorcee. Bitch, what? That's Slayana. Almost would be worth getting married again for. But as I said, I'm not going to get married again unless it's someone with terrible health, no living other relatives, and a lot of money, in which case inquire within.
And here we have a complete mess of a woman. She went into the relationship knowing that she would end up getting divorced. Who puts effort into a marriage thinking like that? That's why marriage is a scam for men, because it's just a trap to take half of your assets. Today we're watching I Shouldn't Have Left Him. Divorced women instantly regret divorce. Help us reach 1,000 likes on this video with yours. So without further ado, let's get started.
I've been divorced for 2 years and we were together for a total of 13. We got married on our 7-year dating anniversary and then we were married for almost 6 years. And we really split because we weren't much of husband and wife. There wasn't much intimacy in our relationship, and I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about kind that's built through daily conversation, experiences, conflict, repair. And when we divorced, I very much wanted our divorce to be our own, just like our marriage was our own. We didn't need it to be a divorce. I did all the paperwork, all the filing. It managed to be less than $300. And I really so much just wanted to be able to maintain like this friendship that we had cultivated for so long, support of each other. We have kids, we'll always be family. Literally, there's nothing worth it to me to sacrifice that relationship. A thing, not an amount of money, not another person. He was there through stuff, like he knows. And so there's been like a couple times that I've brought up things to him recently of the stuff going on. And today I mentioned that I have a situation that's kind of crazy. And even though I didn't do anything wrong, I'm worried I'm going to be punished for it. And I just received a very long response about how he can no longer continue communicating with me about personal stuff for his own well-being. I'm like, well, I absolutely think that's valid and want what's best for him. It's just another person that I've loved and still love. Kind of shut me out. Like, I'll always be there for him no matter what. And I want to be. We didn't divorce for any other reason than we just weren't husband and wife. We were like best friends. And I did everything for us and our family. And it was exhausting. I was lonely inside my relationship. And that's much lonelier than being lonely alone. I just couldn't do it forever. Not the kind of relationship I wanted to model for my daughter. It's not what I would want for her or my son. I just wonder what's wrong with me. I can respect it. It's kind of like breaking up again. Like I was never inappropriate, but I get it. It's a lot. My shit is a lot, but I do miss my friend.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
For me, this man is doing the right thing. When you get divorced, the relationship is dead. If you have children, you talk about the kids, and that's it. Because it's not healthy for a woman who was once your wife to tell you about her personal life with another man. Besides, if you still love that man, why didn't you fight for your marriage? Why wasn't there therapy? Why didn't you look for solutions other than divorce? Even taking a trip together would have been a good idea. Now you regret it because that man put himself first, valued himself, and stopped being your shoulder to cry on. You wanted to keep him on the bench while you recovered so you could go after someone else. Congratulations to that man for respecting himself.
So, as a mom of 6 kids who got divorced after 27 years and had my first child at 20 years old and was a stay-at-home mom, literally still to this day, I can tell you, to the little 19-year-old trad woman who says being a stay-at-home mom, she has no job, no money, no income, bad move. Bad move. Because when I got divorced, I had to actually put my divorce retainer on my husband's credit card. No, I'm not, my ex-husband. I'm not proud of that, but I had no access to money at all. because I didn't work. And he used to tell me stuff like, you do work, you take care of our family. But at the end, he didn't believe that. So that only worked while it worked. So I stayed home with 6 kids and I took care of them, and I made no money of my own, and I helped him, and I went to dinner parties and helped him in his job, and, helped when he needed a work wife or whatever he needed. But I was left with nothing. And not to say, ultimately we finished the divorce and blah, 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 but you're leaving yourself exposed, and bad move from someone who's been there. Just FYI.
I was with my friend today, and her and I both were married to the safe men and to very, very, very financially successful men that were really kind-hearted, would do anything for us. Again, the safe person that society would consider cream of the crop. We were married to them, and we both made the decision to leave. And we could have stayed. We could have been cushy, never had to work again, could have been married, could have had kids. And her and I were there today, and we were able to plug in our phones into the Bluetooth and play the music. And her and I are fully doing a leg workout. We are jamming to Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, all the good stuff. And her and I are both just giggling. My jaw literally hurts because her and I were just giggling and laughing the whole time. And we're reading these quotes on the wall, and it was so crazy because her and I were both just fully connected, and we were like, wow, we're here. We are on the other side. We dreamt of this. This is why we left.
So you divorced a good man and it was worth it because now you're getting a really good workout. In all seriousness, this is messaging that just keeps on circulating. And I have just 2 things to say about it. Number 1, of course it's a great thing to feel happy and to be in the moment and to feel like you're going down the path that you were meant to be on. That's great, but this is my second point, and this is the longest, most important one. What about the man that you divorced who put in tons of effort and resources and time to build a life with you? A life that you decided to just rip out from underneath him when he did nothing wrong. He was probably left heartbroken and very confused. And how is he going to move forward in life? Because that honestly is traumatic. So for your happiness, you have caused trauma to somebody else, and you are not recognizing that when you make a TikTok like this. I just hope that there is some personal recognition of that, and that you kind of made things very easy on that man in the divorce. Because in my opinion, you hold the responsibility. You need to be accountable that you couldn't hold your word.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Let's start with the woman who was a stay-at-home mom for 27 years. I seriously doubt you walked away from that divorce empty-handed. You probably took half the savings, kept the house, and possibly received alimony. And you most likely kept the young children, which means your ex-husband will have to pay child support. They never talk about that. Besides, all this complaining about how you never did things for yourself is the same problem with the way the younger woman thinks. Those 2 women, the younger one isn't even 30 yet. I bet that once either of them reaches that age and is single, she'll regret leaving a man like that. When she wants to know what happened to him, she'll find out he's married, has a family, and has another woman enjoying the good life with him. She'll regret it, especially when her friend gets a husband and stops looking for her. Brothers, remember, you never leave this life without paying your karma.
So I recently left my husband in our house and got myself my own apartment, and it's confusing. It's confusing to us. It's confusing to everybody else. We're not getting divorced. We just are living separate lives right now. Here's the thing that I find so fascinating. Everything in humans' lives that is so great and so wonderful comes to an end where we celebrate it. Think about your career. You eventually retire and there's a big party for retiring. Your kids, you raise them, and then there's graduation. They leave. Yay! If you're done living in a certain place and you leave, there's a goodbye party. When you finish college, graduation party. When you are done growing a human inside your body, there are baby showers. Marriage is one of the only things that we just have to continue doing forever and ever and ever, and there is never an end in sight. Even if you're married for, let's say, 15 years, and you feel like we have concluded that. That feels exactly right. Doesn't feel like we go beyond this. Why can't that be celebrated? Why don't we do that? Instead, what we do is we start blaming each other, start picking each other apart. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? People are unfulfilled, so they go seeking other places. I mean, there's like a million things that happen to eventually end the relationship. Probably should have ended. Like, if we would have sat down and thought about it, we would have been like, yeah, I think we did it. Like, high five. Feels like there should be much more allowance for people to be married for as long as the marriage lasts. Like, maybe you have a 5-year marriage, maybe you have a 20-year marriage. But why do we have to get into situations where people are not working and then we just destroy each other rather than be like, we did that. Seems like it's coming to an end. Let's wrap it up. Even your own life is celebrated with a funeral at the end of it. And yet marriage just keeps going into the eternities, apparently. I don't know about you, but I think marriage deserves to be celebrated no matter how many years you choose to be married. Let's not end in like total tragedy of destruction. Let's call it. Be like, we did that. That was enjoyable. Thank you for coming into my life. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for building this thing. Let's continue on elsewhere. Why isn't that the norm?
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Only a man who doesn't respect himself would fall for this move. She didn't get divorced. She moved out on her own, which is different. What she did was put the marriage on pause, while he sits at home waiting like an idiot. This is nothing more than a free pass to feel single again for a while, and bet whatever you want that there's already a new man texting her every day. And so she doesn't look like the villain who betrayed her husband. She comes up with this nice little speech about living separate lives and celebrating the marriage. As a man, I would never let a woman put my life on pause while she goes out there to see what else is available. If you want to leave, then leave completely, close the door, and deal with the consequences. You don't stand in the doorway just in case your other plan doesn't work out and you need to come back. I'd take the hell of a real divorce 1,000 times over that cowardly little game.
Women.
As a formerly married stay-at-home wife, now divorcee, here are reasons I love not living with a man. 1, it's really easy to not drink heavily when there's not a person in your home that makes you want to drink heavily. 2, no one is going to come in here and criticize me. Not one person is going to walk through my door and criticize me in my own home. Thank God. 3, I have a terribly behaved dog who has a lot of reign in this house. No one can tell me what to do with her, what training she does or doesn't need. I can just do what works for me. Having to cook 2 separate meals, one for me and one for him because we had completely different tastes in food and I didn't have a job, so it was my job to cook. He was a picky eater, so there's a lot of things he just would not eat. 4, no one is starting a fight while we're both tucked in bed about to fall asleep and someone's starting a fight with me. That's not happening. No one is doing that to me. 2, in the same vein, having that fight, not resolving it because nothing ever got resolved, going to bed, waking up in the morning and tiptoeing around each other in our very small house, still angry. I don't have to tiptoe anywhere. Here's one thing I don't like. Sometimes when you live with someone, you wake up and your coffee is already made. When you live by yourself, the only person making your coffee is you. Always. Bummer.
I can bet that when something breaks in the house, something goes wrong with the car, or she has an emergency, she'll call her ex-husband, because that's how they are. They celebrate when you leave. Only think about all the things you used to do for them, and feel happy that they don't have to do anything for you anymore, as if she were the only one who ever put effort into the marriage. Then an emergency happens at home. She has a financial emergency, or she needs a man to fix something, and suddenly she misses her husband. Those are the moments, gentlemen, when, if you're already separated, you need to stand your ground and tell her no. You're already separated. You don't owe her anything. If you have children, your responsibility is to your child, not to her. Let her take responsibility for herself, because responsibility is kryptonite to women. We've reached the end, but before we go, the questions are for you. Have you ever experienced something similar with an ex who only reaches out when she urgently needs help? Would you give your marriage some time if your wife asked you to? Or is that already a red flag? If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next video from the wall.